my name is Maria Osman, and today I'm going to talk about Shakespeare's play King Lear. King Lear has been played many times, and it has got many versions. But when this play was first played, the event was loaded with political significance. King James of England, he wanted to unite Scotland and England, but his proposal met refusal from Parliament. So on one hand, this play shows the dangers of dividing a kingdom, which might seem to be endorsing King James's point of view, but on the other hand, this play rebukes the idea of complete power exercised by kings. The we can say the main theme of the play is good versus evil, or morality versus political. There are some characters who stand for goodness, for example, Cordelia, Ken, Gloucester, Edgar, whereas on the other hand there are some characters who stand for evilness, or we can say political, for example Honoria, Reagan and Edmund. What Shakespeare wants to show us is that there is no place of morality in political. The character who wants to speak up for morality, or the people who wants to speak up for morality, they are banished and they are exiled and they are punished. For example, Cordelia and Kent. The pressure on Cordelia to speak up how much she loves King Lear is immense, but her resistance is impressive. She says no, she says nothing, but she is trying to show King Lear, and what she is trying to tell King Lear is that he has been a good father and a good king, and he has been a good subject and a good daughter, and but she cannot love him beyond that. When she will get married, she will have a husband, and her love will be divided between her father and her husband, and she cannot love him beyond that bound. But King Lear does not understand that. On the other hand, Kent also refuses to give what we can say courtly speeches. Kent knows that he is going to be punished, and he is threatened by King Lear many times, but he refuses to say what King Lear wants to hear. He does his job as a good counselor, and he tries to give him good counsel, but he is also punished by King Lear. What important to note is that when King Lear decides to banish Cordelia and divide kingdom between Honoriel and Regan, none of the character is worried about the political situation of the country. Everybody is worried about the effect of King Lear's decision on his life. As Kent says, hold on to thy power, reverse thy doom. And when later on Gloucester hears about King Lear's decision, he shows his amazement and his surprise, and later on the fool jibes on about King Lear's decision, although the audience know that the decision he has made is a total disastrous recipe for political situation of the country, as we see later on in the play. Another important character throughout the play is the character of Fool. Although he seems to be fool and he is there to for the amusement of the king, but here in this play he plays a very important role. Fool, through his songs, through his puns and remarks, tries to make King Lear understand and realize the gravity of his situation. When, after abdicating his kingship, King Lear goes to visit Honoriel, and Honoriel seems to be very angry, and King Lear asks her why she is so angry. At that point, the fool knows why she is so angry. He has understood King Lear's situation, but King Lear, he still has not realized the truth of his situation. And Fool at that time says, thou art nothing, I am a fool, thou art nothing. And later on, when King Lear says that, can anyone tell me who am I? The fool says, Lear's shadow. And later on in Storm's scene, the fool tries to tell King Lear that no matter how impressive speeches he gives to the nature is not going to pay attention to him. Nature is indifferent to human beings. And in front of nature, fool and a king, they both are the same. The fool, he has experience of court, and he has also outer world experience, and it is he knows many songs and many phrases and puns, and he enjoys using him. And it is through his efforts and his comments King Lear starts to see the world through a whole new perspective towards the end of the play. And what important is to note is that King Lear, the fool's remarks are not only directed towards King Lear, but they are also directed towards the audience. Another thing which Shakespeare has paid much attention to is King Lear's madness. There are different stages of King Lear's sanity and insanity. His actual insanity or madness, we can say, begins to appear when he is in the hovel with the fool, and Edgar appears and he says that, "Hast thou given all to thy daughter and come to this?" He thinks that Edgar is a philosopher and a wise person, and he holds a mad trial against Honoriel and Regan for their crimes. And later on, when Gloucester is going to commit suicide and Edgar stops him and they meet King Lear, what we are told is that King Lear was dressed up frantically in flowers. At that point, King Lear is although acting mad, but he speaks very intelligently, and evidently he recognizes Gloucester. And towards the end of the play, we see that when he is holding Cordelia's dead body in his hand, he is on the verge of madness. All we can say is that he can attend to nothing but to Cordelia's death. But Shakespeare, although he has shown him mad or acting mad, but Shakespeare has been very careful about his speeches. He made sure that his speeches are not nonsensical. Shakespeare has made King Lear's madness a tool to express his own political opinions. For example, at one point in his madness, he talks about, in the storm scene, King Lear talks about poor naked wretches. But King Lear realizes that when he was a king, when he was spending a luxurious life, he did not pay much attention to the poor, to the needs of the poor. What Shakespeare is trying to say is the rich and privileged, they ignore poor and they ignore their needs, and only one realizes what poor goes through is when he is outside, when he is in the nature, when he has to face the same difficulties. So Shakespeare has used King Lear's madness as a tool, as a way to express his own political and subversive thoughts. Some critics say that this is a play of sacrifice and salvation, whereas some people say that it is an unchristian play depending upon the treatment of the gods. We can say in the play, most of the characters they call gods, they seek for their help. For example, when Kent and King Lear, they have argument in the beginning of the play, they call pagan deities. And later on, Cordelia calls God to cure his ill father, and King Lear also, in the storm scene, he calls God to take his part. And Gloucester also thinks that gods kill human beings for sport, but later on he calls them ever gentle gods. But what is shown is that direct help from God is not available, that gods do not interfere in human beings' lives. And what is shown is that when, for example, when Cordelia says that Cordelia asks God to cure her father, what is shown is that King Lear is cured through sleep and love and kindness and some herbal medicines. And Gloucester, when he is going to commit suicide, he is not stopped by gods, or there is no direct help from God. Edgar comes and stops him from committing suicide. What is shown is that although the gods are there in character's mind very vividly, the gods do not interfere, no direct help is available from God. So on this note, I would like to end my discussion. If you have read King Lear, please let me know what are your thoughts about it. Did you like the play or did you not like the play? And please give my video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to see more views. Oh, sorry, not to see more reviews and discussions and analysis of the play. And I'll see you soon. Bye.